I just wanted to let you know how thrilled Carole and I are at the news today. Now let's talk about Princess Kate's mother, also referred to as Super Granny. This week's People magazine issue features an article about Carole Middleton. She is also quite involved as a grandmother to royal children. There has been astonishment and awe ever since Kate Middleton joined the royal family and stepped out onto the balcony of Buckingham Palace. Millions watching on TV and tens of thousands in London wanted to witness the moment as the throng chanted "Kiss." Carole Middleton, the future Queen of England's mother, and Queen Camilla had reportedly been at odds. But in a sudden turn of events, Carole startled everyone, leaving Queen Camilla in tears. Many people are curious about what actually transpired behind the scenes, and what Carole Middleton said to Queen Camilla that made her cry, as her unexpected act has been making headlines. However, what was said by Carole? Stay tuned as we reveal the incident that clearly shocked Queen Camilla. Carole Middleton departs. Queen Camilla was crying. Queen Camilla and Carole Middleton have been having a secret argument for years about their respective responsibilities in the Wales children's life. The main source of their conflict is the Middleton family's relative access to the royal side. Carole Middleton talked candidly about her love of gardening and how she is inspiring her grandchildren to cultivate a similar enthusiasm for cultivating veggies and plants. According to family sources, Camilla was never totally at ease with the children spending more time with their maternal grandparents than with the royal side. The public began comparing Carole and Camilla's grandparenting abilities because it depicted her as a distant step-grandmother. However, which of the two grandmothers was superior? Let's investigate. Public opinion was further heightened by the widespread belief that Camilla spent less time with the kids because they weren't her biological grandchildren. Despite her initial lack of concern, Camilla eventually started to feel the effects, particularly since Carole was frequently pictured having fun with the kids, going to school functions, taking them on vacation, and holding family get-together. However, who can criticize her for being active and present in her grandchildren's lives? Carole and Camilla couldn't be more different. Camilla had always put the crown first, while Carole was totally preoccupied with her grandkid. Like her daughter Kate, she loved them dearly and treasured every moment spent with them. The youngsters found it simple to relate to her because of their strong mother-daughter bond. Carole's bond was organic and kind, in contrast to Camilla's more structured and occasionally tense relationship with Charles and, consequently with Kate. Not over William's approval, and definitely not over the kids, Camilla could never hope to compete with Carole. This was due to the fact that Camilla's part in Diana's demise was still remembered. Perhaps the princess of the people would still be alive today if Camilla hadn't stood in the way of Charles and Diana's relationship. However, Carole Middleton, who was always there for her grandkids, quietly felt Diana's presence even though she was not there. Even as she negotiated royal life, she and her husband Michael Middleton remained by their daughter and provided her with unwavering support. Carole's influence over her family was subtle and non-aggressive. It was instinctive, based on true affection. Michael Middleton is from a wealthy family, but Carole Middleton is from a working-class family and was raised in public housing. And it was just that quiet strength that prevented Camilla from making fun of her. Rather, Carole handled the matter in a tactful yet direct manner, making Camilla see her actual reflection for the first time. The tears follow. We must first comprehend Carole Middleton's personality and the reasons Kate continually goes to her when everything else fails before we can fully comprehend how she might move Queen Camilla to tears. Over the years, Carole Middleton changed her role as an air hostess to that of the future king's grandmother and royal mother-in-law. This change was startling, but it was also motivating. Her perseverance and passion for life were the reasons behind her success. Carole's origins were modest. Her mother worked part-time as a jewelry maker, while her father was a decorator. Before relocating to a small Victorian flat in Southall, West London, they resided in council accommodation in Ealing. Like any other child, Carole attended the nearby high school. But Carole left school at the age of 16. She departed because she was fed up with the educational system and wanted a change. She didn't see the necessity to return to school, so her parents couldn't persuade her. Carole returned to complete high school, nonetheless, because he secretly still liked education. She sadly failed to fulfill her aim of becoming a teacher. Before working as a secretary for British Airways, she worked as a shop assistant at John Lewis, since she loved the notion of teaching, but her parents couldn't afford the cost of her teacher training. She went on to become an air hostess. She met the love of her life during this time, Carole Middleton, a flight dispatcher and co-worker. Michael was descended from a well-known, aristocratic Yorkshire family, alongside her second cousin, Florence Baroness Airedale. His grandmother, Olive Middleton, worked as a VAD nurse. After falling in love, Carole and Michael were married on June 20. However, this didn't make things any simpler. Stability was still something they had to fight for. They rented a 2-story villa in Amman, Jordan, close to the park and the school nursery where Catherine attended. Michael had been promoted to manager at BA during their early years of marriage, and they already had 2 children, Pippa, who was 8 months old, and Catherine, who was 2 years old. They ultimately made the decision to go back to England for private reasons. Michael's mission with British Airways was coming to an end, and Carole clarified that she no longer wanted to be an expat mother. In order to give their kids a conventional English upbringing, they moved back to England in 19. Carole put forth a lot of effort since she was determined to succeed. She got a breakthrough notion in 1987, just after the birth of James Middleton, their 3rd child. She started Party Pieces, a business that specialized in party supply cataloging, and eventually became wealthy from their prosperous enterprise. By providing a private education and a lovely home, they were able to provide Catherine and her siblings with a typical middle-class upbringing. It's interesting to note that Carole saw a need when organizing Catherine's 5th birthday, which led to the creation of this multi-million-dollar business. Carole was unable to come up with anything appropriate for Catherine's birthday celebration, despite her best efforts. Even though she was familiar with the stores, she discovered that they all featured the same plain, uninteresting plates with clown theme. Nothing lively or entertaining for children. Carole saw that the market was lacking in party items for kids. This gave Carole a sudden thought, and she made the decision to produce her own party supplies. She was aware of the party favors that children cherish. Because parents wanted something unique for their children's celebrations, she started creating lovely, eye-catching materials, which she sold fast. Since Carole had children of her own and had a close relationship with them, this was simple for her. However, Carole was not the only one who built the company. It involved her whole family. When they could, her kids pitched in. Carole disclosed that as her family increased, so did the party component. After graduating from school, James started baking cakes, and Catherine created the birthday and baby categories. Finding out how much the entire family was invested in the business warmed my heart. It's interesting to note that the Middletons' entire life was altered by Party Pieces. As a result of the business's success, they were able to send their kids to elite private schools. Carole, who had dropped out of school, could only imagine the heights they achieved. However, Carole's tale did not stop there. The Middletons earned enough money to buy homes as well. They purchased the Tudor-style manor house, Oak Acre in Bucklebury, Berkshire, in 1995. Additionally, they paid cash for a Chelsea, London flat in 2002, where they resided with their kids. Carole's business took off, and they were able to expand gradually. They created a loving home environment where they always felt supported and loved. So even though they were successful, they made sure to look after their kids and put their needs first. They also taught their kids to develop objectives and instill family values, telling them that everything was possible if they had faith in themselves. Princess Catherine's mother made sure her daughter was brought up properly, which is why she has succeeded in life and in the royal family. In fact, Catherine had referred to her mother as her strength. Carole is viewed as Kate's pillar and strength. Catherine was able to blend in with the new high society, despite Kate's marriage to Prince William, the future King of England, because her mother encouraged her, supported her, and offered guidance when needed. However, Carole Middleton had an impact on Catherine's life that went beyond her personal life. Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, her 3 royal grandchildren, were all affected. Carole Middleton was the ideal grandma and mother. Carole Middleton continues to be a significant part of Kate's and her grandchildren's lives, making her the ideal mother and grandmother. Carole has always been there for her daughter, offering her guidance and reassurance most of the time, ever since Kate and William started dating after meeting at the University of St. Andrews. She also made a significant contribution to the royal wedding's success. She didn't stop there though. Carole takes an active role in facilitating Kate's function as a mother. It is clear that Carole Middleton's grandmother plays a more significant and indisputable role in the lives of the young royals, even if she has other grandchildren and loves them all equally. Prince Louis, Prince George, and Princess Charlotte. Their parents' hectic schedules are to blame for this. As everyone knows, being a royal entails a great deal of responsibility and duty. On the other hand, Carole and Michael provide for their daughter and grandchildren. They make every effort to ensure that the young royals are not raised inside the inflexible walls of the royal palace, but rather are given a feeling of normalcy and what childhood and family are all about. It has been said that William and Catherine's royal life felt normal because of the Middletons' involvement in their children's lives. However, this assistance didn't begin right away. It started in the beginning, from early childhood to the present. Princess Catherine lived with her parents for a while during Prince George's early pregnancy, before eventually going back to her spouse. And although we had been anticipating Prince George's arrival for some time, there were a few cameras prepared for his first appearance in 2013, when Prince William and Kate welcomed their first son. However, none of it was official until today, despite the fact that the birth and the name garnered international attention. Prince George received a paper trail this afternoon. Michael and Carole couldn't hide their happiness. After George was born on July 22, 2013, they were the first members of the family to visit him in the Lindo Wing in London. That's not all. During the initial weeks after George's birth, Catherine moved to her parents' house at Bucklebury Manor in Leafy, Berkshire, to experience motherly love and care. She was accompanied by William. They had a good time with the Middletons, and he agreed with the decision. Carole Middleton is particularly well known for helping the children with bath time and bedtime. The Middleton children hardly receive any assistance from the nannies, and the reason for this is Catherine's upbringing, where they handled the majority of their child care responsibilities alone. Catherine's current self has been shaped in part by this. Princess Catherine was spotted visiting her parents' home in 2024, where she found solace and healing, while undergoing treatment for her cancer diagnosis and avoiding the world. Carole made sure to be present for her daughter at this difficult time. In order to prevent the children from missing their mother or causing her undue stress, she and Michael made sure they were a loving and powerful presence for them. Carole made sure the kids followed their usual rituals when she helped Kate drop them off at school. During these times, Catherine felt at ease since she knew she had dependable parents to lean on. Additionally, it was said that Carole and Michael made sure the children had a good time during this difficult time. Together they baked, played games, rode bikes, and played cards. Grandma Carole and Grandpa Michael's generosity and selflessness helped keep the young royals peaceful during a trying time for the family. And it was all fun for the kids. But after overcoming cancer and planning her annual Westminster Abbey Carole concert, Catherine felt better. This was Catherine's first public appearance since receiving her diagnosis. The public was pleased to see her, but they were all focused on something else. The Middleton grandparents received a letter from one of Catherine's children. In 2024, Cheeky Louis, the youngest of the Wales offspring, was seen carrying a covert handwritten note sent to a person who had showed him support, love, and kindness. When Louis approached the kindness tree to attach his passionate message during the concert, it caught everyone off guard, wondering what Louis's message contained. To find out, keep watching. Prince Lou wrote a sweet card to Kate Middleton's parents, Carole and Michael Middleton, with whom he has a close relationship. The paper said thank you to Grandma and Grandpa because they have played games with me. The message, which emphasized the vital role the Middleton grandparents played throughout Princess Catherine's cancer treatment, made people everywhere smile, not just the grandparents themselves. It served as a lovely reminder of the close tie that exists between grandparents and their grandchildren, a bond that upholds the principles of family, love, and presence. In an interview, Carole Middleton, who has 7 grandkids, stated that her family comes from. She revealed that she still feels young and wants to run through the playground tunnel, climb the trees, and run down the hills. She plans to continue cooking, dancing, getting dirty, and riding her bike with her grandchildren,
as long as she is able. Carole gladly takes on the role of grandma, and she has no plans to slow down anytime soon. However, it doesn't end there. There have been other heartwarming and humorous times spent with Carole and her grandchildren. Prince George was observed scanning the area during Princess Charlotte's christening in Norfolk in 2015, tilting his head several times to look for his grandma in the packed chapel. The sight was gentle and pleasant. Princess Charlotte playfully poked out her tongue at the audience during the King's Cup regatta in 2019, demonstrating Carole's playful side. Princess Charlotte knows full well that the audience is being photographed by the journalists, so instead of waving, she sticks out her tongue. Carole laughed with her instead of reprimanding her because she thought it was funny. The Wales family frequently spends portions of Christmas with the Middletons, even though custom requires them to spend the holiday season in Sandra. Carole once disclosed that she ensures each of her grandchildren has a Christmas tree in their room for them to decorate during the holidays, as they see fit. For the children, her home feels magical because of these tiny gestures of affection. However, it's not always as simple as it seems to be a working adult and a parent. However, Carole Middleton was able to strike a balance between being a present, active grandma and managing a profitable business. She acknowledged that there isn't a secret recipe. She stressed the importance of organization, getting up early and juggling her obligations to her family, job and education. It was difficult back then, and it remains difficult today. She counseled moms to surround themselves with people they can trust, and to take advantage of assistance when it is available. Her daughter Kate, who has relied on her parents' assistance in raising her kids, has found success with that counsel. Why not? In the end, Kate was brought up by Carole to become the lady she is today. The same cannot be said about Prince William, Kate Middleton's spouse, who lost his mother when he was 15 years old, despite Kate being raised by her devoted and constant mother. Later on, his father was busy with royal responsibilities, and he acquired a stepmother. But one question remains: how have Kate and Prince William been able to provide their kids with a loving yet grounded upbringing? Let's investigate. The parenting style of Kate Middleton and Prince William. The public and even senior royals have praised Prince William and Princess Kate for parenting their 3 children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. The youngsters spend most of their time with their parents, with the help of the Middleton grandparents behind the scenes. Compared to William's upbringing in the royal palace, Catherine's parenting style is more centered on emotional presence and hands-on warmth, reflecting Carole's impact on her upbringing. Kate talked candidly about her upbringing in Bucklebury during an interview. She said she was fortunate to have a strong family since her parents were very committed to her and her siblings, and she had a really happy and joyful childhood. She also talked about how, since becoming a parent, she had learned to value the sacrifices her parents had made for them. Catherine saw how much love, dedication, and work parenthood really required. She continued by saying that because she loved athletics, her parents would attend every game. They supported her by cheering her on from the sideline. This was a lovely discovery that demonstrated her parents' support and presence. Could Prince William, however, say the same about the way his parents raised him and his brother? William was raised by dysfunctional parents, who were consumed by the disarray in their marriage, which had a profound effect on their kid. Although Diana was an active mom who always made time for her boys, and made sure they had a taste of life outside the royal castle, her passing had a significant impact on her sons. Their father Charles, who was often busy with royal responsibilities, was left to look after them. Duty was the most important thing to Charles. Additionally, he was frequently too exhausted at the end of the day to play ball with the boys. Instead, he went directly to his study. William was far from adopting his father's parenting approach, even if he respected his father's devotion to duty. Rather, he and Catherine have adopted a different strategy, the hands-on parenting style, which is based on Catherine's upbringing. The child is the primary emphasis of the hands-on parenting technique. It puts the kid's emotional health and developmental needs first, fostering a more wholesome and loving bond between parent and child. In contrast to the conventional royal parenting approach, which prioritizes duty over all else, William and Kate have made their family their primary priority. Catherine has often shown that her children come first, even before her royal responsibilities. When Princess Charlotte was due in 2015, Catherine asked for full maternity leave. Her plea was approved with Queen Elizabeth's help. Shortly after giving birth to Prince Louis in 2018, Catherine requested maternity leave once more, before going back to her royal responsibilities. She wanted to spend some time getting to know her new baby. This request was granted by Queen Elizabeth. That's not all though. Catherine encountered an unforeseen health issue in 20. She was given a cancer diagnosis, which forced her to take a break from her royal duties, in order to prioritize her health. She made time for her family and her kids a priority. Nevertheless, even throughout this trying period, Catherine was with her parents out of sight. Following her chemotherapy, a touching video of her with her parents and kids went viral, demonstrating how important her family is to her. In addition to adopting a hands-on approach, Kate and William have established defined norms and boundaries to kindly impose discipline. For instance, rather than disciplining the child severely, they employ the chat sofa technique, a mild form of discipline in which they explain to them what they did wrong and why. It has been suggested that this fosters understanding and reduces yelling and rebelling, making the family a more tranquil place. Furthermore, Catherine's work on Shaping Us, an early years initiative, aimed at increasing public understanding of the value of early childhood, enhanced her expertise and impact. Since the early years are the most formative time for parents to shape a child's character, the initiative highlighted how important these years are in determining a child's future. Catherine's gentle parenting approach was greatly impacted by the Shaping Us project, which she embraced wholeheartedly since she understood its significance. Catherine was making every effort to steer clear of the difficulties the royal family had encountered when rearing their offspring. The royal family has always had to strike a balance between their parental responsibilities and their regal duties. At the age of 25, Queen Elizabeth II assumed the throne, and the responsibilities of the position left her with little time for her kids. She instilled in Prince Edward, Prince Andrew, Princess Anne, and Prince Charles the value of duty over personal interests. Prince Charles carried on this legacy by rearing his sons in the same way. Princess Diana tried to raise William and Harry in a different way, exposing them to a more typical way of life, but her passing ended that dream. The youngsters were left in the care of their busy father after the loss. When Prince William married Kate Middleton, a woman who was brought up in a loving household with a supportive mother, everything changed for him. It is impossible to overestimate Carole Middleton's influence on Kate Middleton's parenting principles and knowledge. The world is pleased of the 3 strong royal children that Carole's strong daughter is rearing. How do you feel with Carole's surprising action against Camilla? Do you believe Camilla could care for Kate and William's children as well as Carole Middleton did? Share your opinions with us in the comments area. For more, don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Additionally, click the next video that appears on your screen. You'll like